official practice for y'all. Just talk about the emotions, the excitement, all that, getting ready to hit the floor with this team.
Today's always an exciting day. The first day of official practice, so guys are looking forward to it. And with the new rules that the NCAA gives, it's almost a little bit anticlimactic, just because we're with these guys a lot in the summer, and but it is an exciting day, an exciting time, and we're anxious to get started.
We had talked last week, but it's really, it's your second year, but you're excited because this is the first year with your guys. Just talk about that a little bit.
Well, in a lot of ways, it feels like year one because we actually are practicing in the facility that we're going to be playing in. And so there's a lot of newness to it. It's great to actually be in the building and working in the building every day, and obviously, the roster makeover that we had in the spring and in the summer, obviously, feels like year one in a lot of ways, and it feels there's a lot of newness to it, and it's exciting.
During the summer, during August, you did get to go to Bahamas, and you got those 10 days of practice. Just how beneficial was that for the team?
I've said it all along. I mean, it's hard to measure what it meant to us as a program. Just obviously from the team chemistry standpoint, but also just getting farther ahead and learning a lot about our team. And I think that we learned a lot in the summer that it probably would have taken us into the November to learn. So it's obviously we're farther ahead. When you put practice one together today, we're a little bit farther ahead than we normally would be, just because we have so many guys that were here in the summer and had 10 full days of practice. Now obviously, added Jalen to the mix. A big kid who's going to sit out this year, but Jalen to the mix, changes things a little bit. But our guys are excited to go and really have a pretty good idea of what we're trying to do.
Open it up.
Coach, is it with the phrase you use, the roster changeover? Is it 2 steps forward, 1 back, in regards to the holdovers from last year? Some of the guys that you had last year you worked with not coming back, but then you're the new influx, but then integrating with the guys coming back.
Well, I think I know what you're saying here, Rick. I think the biggest thing is that in college basketball, it's really such a year-to-year thing now. I mean, I think you have to build a program, but you have to coach your team and build your team every year. And every year, your team takes on a life of its own. And but we're excited about where we're at. I like our guys a lot. We're excited to get started. We obviously feel really good about where we're at, and we're significantly better than we were a year ago, and that's exciting. And so, it obviously we went through a lot in the last year or so, but like our staff and I talked about earlier late last week, is comparing where the program was when I got here, that March, and compared to where it is now. I mean, it's significantly different and a lot better in a lot of ways, and we're excited to get on the floor and start playing.
When it comes with all the time you spent with the team over this summer, and it seems like practice is starting earlier, is there any, I don't want to say worry, but you don't want your players to kind of burn out, especially before the season even starts. So I guess how have you kind of handled the players as far as the off season and the time leading up to right now?
Great question, David. I think you're absolutely right. It's something that we really felt when we got back from the Bahamas, is that we got to be careful not to burn out too early. And I have a tendency to probably do that. But we really, when we got back, we gave them 10 days where, they were out of here off campus. When they came back, we got back into lifting, got back into shooting, small groups. Last week we started getting into bigger groups, but we also didn't start on the very first day. We waited till today, and we're also probably going to take 2 weeks off, 2 days off a week in the first couple weeks, just to stay healthy and to stay hungry. I think that's important with this group, and these guys have been here and banging on each other for the most part since June. So we're excited to get started officially now, and when they realize that real games are, probably 5 or 6 weeks away. Guys are excited about that.
How do you feel the team is? I know you've talked about it from a strength and conditioning standpoint. I know one of the big things last year was, whether it was in the front court or the back court, that your players are kind of getting banged around. How do you feel everything looks right now?
We're a lot stronger, and I will tell you the number one reason is the new strength coach we hired. Jimmy Butning is absolutely phenomenal. For example, Shamarcus played last year at right about 200, 203 pounds. Today he weighed in at 220 pounds. So he's put on about 20 pounds since Jimmy took over here in the first part of June. So we're significantly stronger, and I knew after last year that was a huge weakness of our program, and I think we were able to address that with the new strength coach we hired. So that's going to be a big part of what we do, being able to lift throughout the year, utilizing Jimmy throughout the year. And we talked about that as a team today. And we were in the weight room again this morning, and we're going to lift throughout the year 3 to 4 days a week. I think it's really, really important for us, and it's important for our guys. And now that we have, a really good strength coach who's very knowledgeable and connects with our guys, and our guys believe in him, it's a huge part of what we're going to do.
As a coach, was that the biggest thing you learned last year about the conference, was the thickness of the conference?
Yeah, Jim, you and I talked about that a little bit off the record at times, for sure. There's the physicality of the league. When you look at teams, obviously Stephen F. had a little bit, dip last year, but they're perennially a really good team. Big physical guards, especially guards. New Orleans, Sam, Abilene, they're all very big physical guards, and it obviously post guys too, but the thickness of this league is something that I didn't really understand until I got here, and that's why I kept putting a premium on. We've got to address our weight room issues, and I think we're able to do that.
Is that also why you do a lot of junior college, kind of get somebody that's already 2 years developed?
Yeah, we're always going to try to recruit the best players we can, and I think that I'm excited about the couple high school kids we got. We're going to have some guys sitting out this year. We're always going to have, guys sitting out. And I think the key to college basketball is to get old and figure out how to stay old. When you look at teams, in the mid-major level, the ones that are successful, they're usually older guys that's played together for a year or two. You look at Abilene last year, won the league. They didn't even make the conference tournament the year before, but they returned a lot of guys. They got big, physical, and they ended up winning the league. Sam Houston last year, I think, had 6 seniors on their team. And so, if you want to win in college basketball at this level, most of the time you got to get old and stay old.
So when you take over a program like you did last year, do you almost have to build 2 separate teams, one of the younger ones coming up and one that can compete right away?
Yeah, I think so. I think that when you take over a program, especially the one that we had, I'm not hiding from this. We had, before we got here, 7 wins and 7 winning seasons in 29 years. So obviously, there's a lot of work to get done, and obviously to be competitive right away is something that everyone wants to be. I think when we lost Roydell Brown with 6 weeks left to go in the season, I think that really put us behind the 8 ball. We were finishing the last 6 weeks with 7 scholarship players, but those guys, my hats off to them forever. They competed, and we still won games down the stretch with 7 players. I'll remember that team forever because of how hard they played. But I think that, obviously you go through the first year, Jim, and you learn a lot. You learn about this league. You learn about how the league is officiated. You learn about the style of play of this league. And I think that it's just, you just learn a lot more. You learn about travel. Where do you want to stay? Where do you want to eat on the road? Now with Jimmy here, we're thinking about, okay, what days can we lift? When we get off the road, all those kind of things, where last year we were just trying to figure all that out. Last year, to be honest, Jim, heck, we were trying to figure out where we were going to play a game. This time, we didn't know if we were going to open the arena or not. We had one practice in the new arena before we played our first game here. We were actually on one side, shooting, and they were on the other side putting up the rim and measuring it. So, there's a lot of things that are different this year than last year, and it obviously feels a lot better.
You had a lot of time to reflect on the last year and behind Bahamas trip. Backcourt guard play, lack of outside shots, is that really the learning from last year and the deficiencies, and something that you said significantly better? I would think it would fall under that category.
For sure. You know, I mean, the stats are the stats and numbers are numbers. And, you know, we were in the bottom 8% in the country in spot-up jump shots last year. So, you know, it's hard to win games in today's basketball if you know, you're in the bottom 8 percentile of you know, spot-up jump shots. Our assist to turnover ratio was towards the bottom of the country. And, you know, we obviously needed to get better, and our guard play needed to improve. And I think that, you know, when you look at from the Bahamas into just, you know, been doing this a long time now, we're obviously better. You know, do we have some deficiencies as a team? And is these guys going to play perfect? Absolutely not. Is AJ going to turn the ball over some? Sure. Is Drew going to miss some shots? Sure. But over the course of the year, I think that we've gotten a lot better. Guys have really, really worked on their games. We put a real premium on shooting the ball from the day the season ended. You know, and how many shots they can make. And, you know, we've had guys, you know, we had one kid, Drew, who made over 32,000 threes this summer. So we put a big premium on our ability to shoot the ball and, you know, in our guard play. And I think we addressed that through, you know, recruiting class, but also with our skill development. You know, guys got in here in the summer, and my staff has done a phenomenal job. And we're better. You know, we're bigger, stronger, and we're better. We're excited to play, and, you know, we understand how hard November is. You know, we got 4 of our first 5 on the road, and, you know, we understand how many, you know, guaranteed games we have to play in November, and those things make it always very difficult. But we're also looking forward to the challenge, and we're looking forward to, you know, it's a long year. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint, and but we're definitely much improved and excited about getting started.
Coach, when I was at the tip-off dinner, I was talking to one of the assistant coaches, and he said that, I guess, something that you guys felt good about as a staff was that while you did miss threes last year, a lot of them were open threes, so you felt like you were able to at least get the plays designed that got the threes, you just couldn't hit them. So is that kind of encouraging, knowing this year you feel like you have better shooters in place that could get those open threes?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that, you know, there were many times that we, you know, I thought we ran pretty good things, and the ball just didn't go in, you know, at times. And that's going to happen this year, too. We're going to sit here after a game and go, gosh, you know, we got some pretty good open looks that didn't fall down, you know, so that it's going to happen. But I do feel better. You know, we over in the Bahamas, we scored over 100 points the last 2 games against 2 pro teams. We shot the ball extremely well, and you know, we have some guys that can make plays on the perimeter and can also really stretch the floor. And with the new 3-point line, I think that's really, really important, especially with the front line that we returned and Shamarcus and Wardell.
Will there be any, I know, you know, you don't have to get into specifics, but will there be any kind of differences or additions on how the team looks on the court offensively and defensively?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't have anything to hide. I think we'll be a little more up-tempo. I think we can get out in the passing lanes and dictate tempo with our defense and our depth this year, which, you know, we really couldn't do last year. We'll utilize the 3 a lot more this year than we did last year, just because of our ability to stretch the floor and shoot it. So I think those are probably the 2 biggest things that you'll see. Well, you know, I think we got good bigs in this program, not only for this year, but into the future. And, you know, we'll play through our bigs, but we'll also, you know, be able to extend our defense more and get out in the passing lanes and try to create some easy opportunities. And again, if you do the research in this league, which, you know, I did, and, you know, last year and even this year, you know, the teams that are positive turnover ratio have a lot of success in this league. So being able to take care of the ball and being able to create turnovers is usually a recipe to be successful in this league.
Last year, we talked a lot about the mentality of the team, not just the physicality of it. Has the mentality changed? Because last year, we talked about a little bit soft when things go bad. They couldn't turn it around. Has that changed? Have you seen that change?
For sure. You know, I think that, you know, we went over to the Bahamas, Jim, and we lost our first game. You know, we got over there and played a team that, you know, won the Bohemian Pro League. They're really good. I mean, they actually beat Texas Tech about a week or so later. And we came back, we watched the film that night, made a couple adjustments, and it's like I saw a big difference in the next game and in the game after that. We're obviously going to get tested early in this year, and we're going to be able to answer that question a lot more once we get into playing. But the mentality of this team is different. You can feel it in the weight room. You can feel it on the floor. I think inherently they compete harder. Our practices at times are wars. They get after each other, and I think, and again, I should be this guy's PR guy, but our strength coach is phenomenal. Just telling you, I hope we can keep him here a long time. But he's phenomenal, and our guys are more confident because they're bigger and stronger. He spends time with them, and I think it's really rubbed off to the floor.
Coach, do you have a starting lineup in your mind or close to the
We'll
top,
see.
top seven?
We started the same team in the Bahamas 3 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, things will and can and will change, and everything is open right now. Obviously, I think that Shamarcus and Roydell have a leg up just because they're back and they really know what we're doing, and you get a guy like AJ Lawson who's been here for 2 years, sat out last year. He had a great great trip over to Bahamas. Drew can obviously really shoot the basketball, and I'll tell you, a guy who's gotten a lot better is Trey Sleepy Johnson. I can talk about all these guys, but he's a kid that he's just a winner. He knows how to win, and none of those decisions have been made yet. Today's the first official day of practice.
Like Johnson, you weren't going to play last year.
Yeah.
Ends up working out to where now, does that pay off dividends?
For sure, yeah. He's going to have an unbelievable story to tell. As a kid that was a preferred walk-on, and pulled him off red shirt after the first game or two, forget what it was, and ends up starting and playing significant minutes quite a bit, and he's going to have an unbelievable story. He is an innate leader. He's one of those guys that makes a lot of winning plays. Truly, really, really understands what we're doing on the floor. He's the ultimate glue guy for this team, and he's a phenomenal young man, and I'm really, really fortunate to have him on our team.
Last year was kind of the mulligan year. Your first year, new gym, everybody kind of said, okay, let's see what you got. More pressure on you this year?
I don't know. Heck, I put pressure on myself every day. No one puts more pressure, on myself than on myself. That's just how I live my life. I try to, be successful every day, and but I think probably the more importantly, Jim, I would say this is that I really do. I love this community. We had a tip-off dinner on Thursday and had, almost 700 people probably there. I feel a real, a responsibility, if you will, to this administration. I love my administration. I love my athletic director, my president, and this whole administration and this community. And I want to deliver for them, and we want to deliver for them. It's been a long time since this community has had, a relevant basketball program. And, we're looking forward to making a huge step this year. I think we will make a huge step. But there's no question in my mind. I think the more the pressure I feel than anything else is, I love it here. I love these people, and they deserve what we're trying to give them.
You got the 20-game conference schedule now. I know that's still a long ways away, but I guess just what's your thoughts on it? Do you have a positive, negative, indifferent on it, and does it change your approach as far as how you will approach non-conference and conference?
It definitely changes. I think it changes scheduling more than anything else. I would be a proponent of playing 24 and play everybody, because I think no matter who you are, you can always look and go, man, why are we playing them and not them and all that. But scheduling has become so hard, just because for so many variables. I don't want to get into all of them, but I think it makes it different. It's obviously a long haul. We start the 21st of December is our first league game, and the conference tournament isn't until March, so it's a long haul. I think the most important thing in league play at any time is just to continue to get better, every day and every week. And that's the one thing we talked about in our meeting last night as a team is, everyone's going to be excited today, and they should. But, just consistently try to get a little bit better every day and a little bit better every week. And that's what it's all about. But our guys are definitely excited about playing, and they're excited about, being here. I think that's probably the biggest thing, too, is that these guys love McNeese. They're bought into, taking this program to another step into where it's at. So these guys bleed blue and gold, and I'm excited about, creating that kind of culture here.
When it comes to expectations, do you have any, I guess, set specifics as far as like we definitely, we need to make the conference tournament, we need to get to this level of wins? Is it just looking at improvement of play? Like, how do you, I guess, define success this season?
Well, I define it every year, and that's probably the same way. And it's not coach talk, but we want to compete for championships. Our goal is to compete for a Southland Conference championship and put ourselves in a position to go to the NCAA tournament or postseason play. Keeping our APR and graduating our young people, being good academically, being good socially. I think there's three parts of it. But obviously, I'm a basketball coach, so I get measured a lot on wins and losses, and that's what I signed up for. But we want to be significantly better, and we want to compete for championships.
Coach, last year you understood this is a process, and you've said several times you're writing a book chapter by chapter.
Sure.
This year, as I look down here, all these 14 guys, you did this, you brought them in.
Mm-hmm.
So is that kind of this, are you taking the same approach, or is it different? Is it like, I have the players now, they just have to go out and win, or do you still feel like you're writing a book?
Oh, we're still writing a book for sure. This is the next chapter, and I'm glad that chapter's over. But for sure, and I'm excited about what we were able to do recruiting-wise, Taylor. I really, really am happy with where we're at. Are we going to be perfect? Of course not, but we're significantly better. My staff's done a phenomenal job throughout the year, and I think going through the year, we really understood what we need to do to get better and to be successful in this league. And these guys hit the road and went out and got it done. But every season's a process, and when you're building a program, it is a process. And I've talked about it since I've been here. I mean, my goal just isn't to have one really good season and roll out of here. My goal is to build a comprehensive program here. And and again, I'm fortunate to have the administration that I have, and I'm fortunate to have the fan base we have. And we were second in the league in attendance last year, and that's another big goal of mine. I want to try to average over 3,000 fans. We were at 2,500. That's a goal of mine. How can we get this to 3,000? And the more better environment we have, the more games you have a chance to win at home, because it's college basketball, And so all that goes into it, Taylor, about building a program. And we've come a long way. We've come a long way, and since I got here, March, almost 2 years ago.
Every team has a personality, and this team's been together already a few months with still a long time to go. But I guess, what do you think, what do you know, or what do you think you know about the personality of this year's team?
Great question. They really enjoy each other, almost to a fault at times. But they do. They're an upbeat group. We're reading a book, The Energy Bus by John Gordon, and these guys have really taken that to heart about, being positive energy. Positive energy attracts positive energy. And, so these guys, play with a great enthusiasm. I think the one thing, again, I'll hit this, is the one thing that we've tried to build here as a culture is guys that bleed blue and gold and that want to do something special here and build a program. And I think that they carry that onto the floor more so this year. I think that these guys are excited about what we have a chance to do and be a lot better. They're excited about being in this community and at this university, but they play hard. The one thing I would tell you is that these guys play really, really hard. I don't have to wind this group up as much as I have to try to, simmer them down a little bit. They get after it pretty well.
Just going back to the tip-off banquet,
Mhm.
what's the feeling like knowing as many people you had there, that Southwest Louisiana is embracing this team, and on the flip side, I've had several people tell me how wonderful it was to have the team. They went table to table, greeting everybody, knowing that, you know, people are gonna come see you play because they're getting to know these players. Just your thoughts on the tip-off club in general, the success of it, and what it does for the team and for the community.
Well, I think that it's a big part of what we do, you know, and I said it at my press conference, if you go back, and I said, you know, we're gonna build a program that embraces this community, and in turn, we hope the community will embrace us. I think you're starting to see that. I think, you know, last Thursday, you were able to see that with, you know, filling up a ballroom there. The excitement that was in the air is all new. It means a lot to me. I pinch myself, I literally do. I pinch myself how fortunate I am to, you know, to be here and to build a program. It's fortunate I am to have the administration I have. You know, I'm extremely blessed, and I remind our team of that every day too. But it was good for, I think, this community to get a chance to meet our guys. We have great people, we have great guys, you know, and I talk to them every Sunday, and I say the same thing to them. You know, it's about winning games, and it's about academics, but it's also about, you know, developing really good husbands and good fathers and good members of this community. And I'm old school, but I believe that you can win championships and do that. I don't think it's one or the other. And I believe you can do that. I'll go to my grave believing it. I've done it before at places, and we're gonna do it again here. But it's exciting to know that this community can really get behind and rally behind a basketball program. There's a lot of people, when I took this job, Matt, said that there's no way that can happen. And I disagreed with them, and, you know, now that I know I was right.
Coach, is there something that we may not know about this team that once the fans of the BB get eyeballs on it, that we might be surprised to learn and see specifically about this team, be it an individual or something from last year to this year, you'll see a jump? I know you've said significantly better in a lot of different phrases, but some kind of hidden nugget maybe that we don't know.
I think we'll definitely be better defensively, and we're gonna shoot the ball extremely much better. I think that we're gonna be really hard to defend because of the personnel that we have and the schemes that we have. And this team, I think, will have a real chip on their shoulder defensively. You know, we've been preaching it from day one that we're gonna be able to score the ball. But being able to grind out possessions and grind out road wins and things like that, you know, I think that this team understands that and believes that. I think that, you know, this team will play with a lot of passion. You know, like I've said before, this isn't a team that I have to wind up very much. This is a team I kind of have to, you know, timber them down a little bit because they're ready to go. You know, they get after it innately. They're an aggressive group. So, you know, I don't know if I answered your question enough, Rick, but I think probably we'll be definitely better defensively because we're bigger and stronger, and, you know, we'll shoot the ball so much better.
Anybody else? All right, Coach.